Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob, and today we're going to have an episode where we take the NFL draft in real life, put it into Madden NFL 24, and see what happens with the squad, and kind of simulate their careers in the Madden universe, and see how they would do the draft. Kind of like how we did with the WNBA draft a couple weeks ago that got a lot of good views and a lot of good support. I can't thank you enough for that. I thought, why not do it with the NFL, because it is tonight's draft. So I'm going to put them into the game, and we're going to probably go through about 4 seasons, I think. Maybe 4 or 5, kind of see what happens to the rookies, see how the league unfolds, and I'll continue to throw in real draft classes as I see them. So if you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below. And if you like franchise content, go ahead and subscribe, because that's what we are known for here on this channel. Now, I'm going to take over my favorite team, the Carolina Panthers, and they absolutely suck. So we're going to try to hopefully see them do good in this series. I wish we had the number 1 pick in real life, but unfortunately we traded that pick to the Bears. So we don't pick until 33. So it's a little bit harder for me to get a little excited for the draft. But nonetheless, one caveat I will say, though, I am going to put the real life players into the Madden and see what they do. And I'm going to let the CPU draft. And I'm just going to tell you, the CPU kind of sucks at drafting in Madden. So there's going to be some crazy stuff. I don't know if the Bears are going to select Caleb Williams number 1. We're going to see what the CPU does. So, hey, let's have some fun with it. Also, it says starting Super Bowl Week 23. I can't start in the postseason or in the offseason, so I'm just going to go ahead and simulate the Chiefs 1. Some of the free agency moves might be a little bit different, but, we're just going to roll with what we got. So, I will see you at the draft. All right, we've made it to the NFL draft. We actually made it through the NFL draft, so we're going to go through each round, not all of them in depth, but see what happens, see what picks were made, see where the Bears went with number 1, and then kind of just go from there and see how they unfold into the 2024 season. So this is my first time looking at it as well. I have no idea what's happened, but let's look at the draft starting off in round number 1. We did not have a pick, but the first pick was Marvin Harrison Jr. The Bears did not go quarterback. Instead, they went wide receiver and took Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think they still have Justin Fields in there, so that's probably why. But Marvin Harrison Jr. is a Chicago Bear. Then Dallas Turner went number 2 to the Commanders, so they're not upgrading quarterback either. They go defense, and they select probably the best pass rusher in the draft. Joe Alt goes to the Patriots, again passing up on a quarterback because, hey, this is Madden. Why not? Finally, Caleb Williams goes to the Cardinals of all teams. So the team that has Kyler Murray, probably out of the top 4 teams, the team that doesn't need a quarterback, they take quarterback because Madden logic. Fuanga went to the Chargers at pick number 5, and then Jaden Daniels went to the Giants. If the Giants had Jaden Daniels fall to them in real life, they would just be on their knees praying to the Lord. So that'll be interesting. We'll see how that unfolds. Brock Bowers is a Tennessee Titan. Jared First goes to the Atlanta Falcons. Byron Murphy is a Chicago Bear as well. Also wish Madden had trades, but that's beside the point. Mims goes to the Jets at 10. Latu goes to the Vikings. They pass on quarterback. And Drake May goes to Denver. So Denver actually gets a quarterback, but they get Drake May. Kenyon Mitchell goes to the Raiders. And we see Olu Fashanu to the Saints. Jerzon Newton to the Colts. J.J. McCarthy is a Seattle Seahawks, so he goes to the Birds. Terrion Arnold to the Jaguars. Troy Fontenot to the Bengals. Nate Wiggins to the Rams. J.C. Latham to the Steelers. Chop Robinson goes to Miami. Jackson Powers Johnson to the Eagles. Malik Neighbors falls all the way to pick number 23 to go to Houston. C.J. Stroud gets another elite target. Don't know how he would slip to 23. Jordan Morgan goes to the Cowboys. Graham Barton goes to the Packers. Bo Nix is a Tampa Bay Buck. It looks like they're not fully behind the Baker Mayfield train. Cooper DeJean to the Cardinals. Rome Odunze to the Bills. Then we see Edgerrin Cooper to the Lions. Kool-Aid McKinstry is a Raven. Kingsley Suamatoan is a 49er. And then Ennis Rakestraw Jr. is a Chief to round out the first round. So a very interesting first round. You can see some of the top picks here in the second round. I'm not going to go through all of them. We apparently went to Andre Sweat as our number 1 target. But let's go through the season, see how these picks unfold, as I will see you guys at the end of the 2024 season. All right, we made it here to the postseason. Unfortunately, my Panthers did not make the playoffs, but they went 7-10, which is a lot better than I would have expected. We'll take a look at the standings As here it is in the NFL, the Bills are the best team, going 14-3, followed by the Cowboys at 12-5. Your worst team was the Bears, so they, again, get the number 1 pick. This time they get it the right way. Patriots were pretty bad. The Broncos were not very good, as well as the Jaguars and the Browns. As far as the playoff picture, here is what it looks like. As it'll be the Bills and the Cowboys in the AFC. We see the Ravens get the 2. The Titans get the 3. They win the South. The Chiefs back in trying to defend their title. The Bengals the 5. The Raiders the 6. And the Steelers the 7. While in the NFC, 1's the Cowboys, 2's the Niners, the 3 is the Lions, the 4 the Buccaneers, 5 Eagles, 6 Packers, and 7 Rams. So no real surprises, I would say here. Let's take a look at how the year unfolded around the league in terms of some of the stats, some of the league leaders. As your passing leader this year was Patrick Mahomes, 4,600 yards. No real surprise. Kirk Cousins still in Minnesota with 43, followed by Josh Allen, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, and Justin Herbert round out the 4K club. Your touchdown leader was Patrick Mahomes with 38. Allen had 33. Jordan Love with 33 as well. Brock Purdy 32. Lamar Jackson 32. So is Lawrence, Prescott, and Stafford. Sam Howell had a pretty decent year in terms of his numbers, as well as your interception leader Drake May, the rookie in Denver, leads the league with 23 interceptions. Deshaun Watson also had 21. Bryce Young had 19. He's still struggling. Caleb Williams, 3,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, 18 interceptions in his rookie season, followed by Lawrence and Ritter. Here is your rushing leader, is Derrick Henry, still in Tennessee with 1,500 yards, followed by Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Kenneth Walker, Bijan Robinson, all over 1,200 yards. And your touchdown leader was Isaiah Pacheco with 18. A lot of high numbers up here in the game. Receiving leader, your yards is Cooper Kupp with 1,600, balling out, almost 100 per game. Receptions leader was Justin Jefferson with 117, but CeeDee Lamb also had 1,000. Justin Jefferson again, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, DeAndre Hopkins, as well as some others. Your touchdown leader was Cooper Kupp with 19. Ayuk had 18. Kelsey led the tight ends this year with 14. Rome Odunze in his rookie year had 986 yards and 13 touchdowns. On the defensive side of things, Mack Wilson led the league in tackles. Your sack leader was Micah Parsons with 17.5. There's TJ Watt and Aaron Donald, who did not retire. He's still in the game. Interceptions, 6 for Devon Witherspoon out there in Seattle, followed by Josh Newton, had 5 for the Packers. So a good rookie year for him. And we see some of the other names. Peyton Wilson, how about that? A linebacker out of NC State going to the Colts. He gets 5. He was their second round pick, I do believe. And some other names down here as well. Were there any special teams touchdowns? It does not. Oh, there was a punt. Charlie Jones had one for Cincinnati. In terms of your awards, your MVP was Josh Allen, followed by Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. A lot of the familiar names here at the top. Coach of the year is Mike Vrabel of the Titans. Offensive, we're going to go through Rookie of the Year because that's kind of what we're looking at here. Rome Odunze in the AFC gets offensive. Defensive Rookie of the Year was Peyton Wilson. While in the NFC, your Defensive Rookie of the Year was Laiatu Latu. And then your offensive was Xavier Worthy, who goes to the New Orleans Saints. But let's simulate through the postseason, and then we'll get into another year and see what happens with the next class and see where our rookies continue to progress. All right, we take a look at our season recap, and it looks like Dallas finally gets it done. They are your Super Bowl champions, 24-14 over the Baltimore Ravens, as they are now 6-time champions. Dak Prescott's your Super Bowl MVP. Skip Bayless is probably jumping for joy somewhere, and Stephen A. Smith is probably crying somewhere. But nonetheless, that is the season. We'll get into the next draft real quickly. We'll go through the free agency this time. I do have the actual players for 2025 up next. So you'll see Shedeur Sanders at the top, Carson Beck, Travis Hunter, a lot of the top names will also join the league. But let's go ahead and sim through the offseason. All right, we've made it through the draft, and here's how it unfolded. The Bears have the number 1 pick, and again, they don't go quarterback. They pass on Shedeur Sanders, and they go with the pass rusher in James Pierce Jr. out of Tennessee. Instead, Shedeur Sanders is a New England Patriot, which would be a very interesting sight to see. Will Campbell goes to the Broncos. Patrick Payton to the Jaguars, stays in Florida. Walter Nolan to the Browns. Ernest Green to the Giants. Landon Jackson to the Cardinals. We see Harold Perkins to the Saints, staying in Louisiana. Mason Graham is a Charger, going to Harbaugh out there. Travis Hunter is a Panther. If this happened in real life, I would be over the moon. I would love to have Travis Hunter on the Carolina Panthers. RJ Oben goes to the Jets. Luther Bird into the Falcons. I do like that pick for them. Ethan Burke is a Colt. Tyleek Williams is a Texan. Will Johnson goes to Miami. Carson Beck is a Minnesota Viking, so they do get a quarterback. McMillan to the Commanders. JT Tuimoloau to the Seahawks. Kelvin Banks to the Rams. Abdul Carter to the Steelers. Michael Williams to the Lions. Jack Sawyer is a Bengal. Trey Zoon is an Eagle. Tyler Booker to the Raiders. Oscar Delp to the Buccaneers. Barrett Carter to the Packers. Benjamin Morrison to the Titans. Malachi Starks to the Bills. Denzel Burke is a 49er. Colton Loveland, a tight end to the Chiefs. David Bailey to the Ravens. And then Bear Alexander to the Dallas Cowboys. But we do have another wave of players, which means it's time to see how the next season unfolds. And let's see the year 2025. Another NFL season in the books, and again, my Panthers do not make the postseason. They go 6-11. As here's how the league unfolds. This time, the Falcons were the best team in the league, going 13-4, as well as the Dolphins leading the way in the AFC. The bottom teams this year were the Saints, the Bears, the Titans, the Browns, the Bengals. So a lot of the familiar faces at the bottom. As here's a look at the playoff bracket. For this year, the Dolphins are the 1. We see the Jaguars the 2, so Florida representing. 3 is the Chiefs. 4, the Ravens, trying to get back to the Super Bowl. 5, the Colts. 6, the Texans. And 7, the Chargers. On the NFC, the Falcons lead the way, followed by the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Cowboys trying to defend their title. 6, the Cardinals, and 7, the 49ers. As Birds kind of reign supreme in the NFC. In terms of your league leaders, we'll go over to stats now. And if we check around the league, Bryce Young had a very gunslinger-ish type of year, it looks like. Your leader in passing yards, again, Patrick Mahomes, 4,700, just continues to not slow down. We see Prescott next, followed by Herbert, Hurts, Josh Allen. Carson Beck, a rookie year, had over 4K yards for the Minnesota Vikings. It helps that he was throwing to Justin Jefferson. But hey, not a bad start for him. Caleb Williams' second year goes a little bit better, 3,900 yards. It looks like he is a starter over Kyler Murray. Joe Burrow, and then Drew Allar, also another rookie up towards the top for the Saints, having a pretty solid campaign. Kenny Pickett, and then Bryce Young is there. Passing touchdowns, Tua Tagovailoa leads the way with 39. Then we see Mahomes, Herbert, Richardson up there as well. Jackson, Prescott, Allen. Your interception leader, Bryce Young with 22, followed by Deshaun Watson, Anthony Richardson, Caleb Williams, Drake May in his second year with Denver, at least toned it down a little bit. Jury's still out on him. Carson Beck and Herbert. And then Quinn Ewers with the Jets had a pretty decent year, 31-14. Your rushing leader is Jonathan Taylor this time with 1,500, followed by Bijan Robinson, Christian McCaffrey, Josh Jacobs, Travis Etienne, Kyron Williams getting up there, Joe Mixon. Your touchdown leader was Damian Pierce of the Texans with 19. Swift had 15. Pacheco had 15 as well. Your receiving leader this time, Brandon Ayuk, had 24. Yes, 24 touchdowns. That is crazy. Devonta Smith, Keenan Allen, Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua, who gets his respect, and Kelsey leads all tight ends. Then we see Diggs, Downs, and Smith. And yes, I was going to highlight it in there, but Brandon Ayuk, I wanted to show it here on the menu, has now broken the record for the most receiving touchdowns in a year, which is funny because in my Commanders franchise, he was very close to breaking that as well. So Brandon Ayuk seems very good here in Madden, and well, he is now your all-time receiving touchdowns leader, breaking the record of Randy Moss in 2007. So good for him. But let's get through the postseason, see who wins this, and we'll go to another offseason. All right, so another year in the books, and this time the Falcons, they get a Super Bowl win. They get their revenge from a couple of years ago. They avenged 28-3. They beat the Chiefs 31-28. And you can see the awards on the right side. Patrick Mahomes was your MVP. Doug Peterson, Coach of the Year. Obviously, Ayuk, who, in my opinion, probably should have been MVP, gets offensive, at least Matt Crosby defense. Rookie of the Year was Shedeur Sanders for the Patriots, even though we didn't see his numbers. And Landon Jackson of the Cardinals was your Defensive Rookie of the Year. But we'll go through one more off season. I do want to do 3 years here in the sim. I know I said about 4 and 5, but I think 3 is a good one. So let's get to our final NFL draft. Here's a look at the top players to expect in this next draft class. Jordan Hall, Dante Moore, Arch Manning will be in this one. if you just watched my Commanders franchise, it's a lot of the same names you saw in that video. So just a couple of the guys to look out for in this year's draft. All right, here's how the draft unfolded. Ruben Bain goes number 1 to the Saints. Dante Moore goes to the Bears. Finally, in this series, Chicago picks their quarterback. Spencer Fano goes to the Titans from Utah. The Browns also get a new quarterback. They get Arch Manning, so maybe they finally found their future, and Deshaun Watson can stop throwing interceptions. The consensus number 1 player, Jordan Hall, falls to the Bengals, and we see Suntarine Perkins, to the Panthers. Caleb Downs to the Jets. Zachariah Branch to the Broncos. Jermaine Matthews Jr. to the Vikings. Keelan Keeley to the Raiders. Caden Proctor is a Commander. Anthony Hill to the Patriots. A.J. Harris to the Steelers. Adewabori to the Buccaneers. Jakeem Jackson to the Giants. Uyunglele to the Bills, the brother of DJ Uyunglele. TJ Parker goes to the Rams. Peyton Bowen to the Lions. Carnell Tate to the Chargers. Nice speed out there. Jordan Hall to the Niners. Francis Mauigoa to the Ravens. Alex Birchmeyer to the Cardinals. Kevin Concepcion to the Texans. Trey Bobalade, to the Packers. Sorry if I mispronounced some of these names. Lance Hurd to the Cowboys. Eugene Wilson to the Seahawks. Desmond Ricks, who I just drafted in my series, goes to the Colts at 27. Luke Haas to the Jaguars. Lawson Lucky to the Eagles. Chase Bisonitz to the Dolphins. DJ Hicks to the Chiefs. CJ Baxter, Falcons. Dylan Thieneman to the Saints. Deshaun Womack to the Bears. Jaden Rashada, quarterback, to the Titans as we go into the second round. And we'll go through one more season and see what happens in this year. All right, so after one more year, the Panthers don't make the postseason, so I might have to wait even longer to see us be very good. Especially, we went 3-14, so we were god-awful in this season. Best team was the Chiefs. The Rams are the best team in the NFC, and your worst team was the Chargers. So you get the number 1 overall pick. And the Bears, well, they're also at least still bad with us. Here's a look at the playoff brackets. As we'll see, we know the 2 best teams on either side. In the AFC, it's the Chiefs. The Patriots get the 2 seed. The Jaguars, Ravens, Steelers, Dolphins, Colts. On the NFC, it's Rams, Buccaneers, Packers, Cowboys, Cardinals, Giants get in there at the 6th spot. And then the Vikings, the 7. In terms of your stats, as we'll take one last look at these, your passing leader in this year was Patrick Mahomes. We'll say, if I had to take a guess, almost 5,000 yards, probably MVP with those numbers. You see Joe Burrow still up there, Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert. Carson Beck had a good sophomore campaign as well, so he's really showed out in Minnesota. You see Dak Prescott, J.J. McCarthy, pretty good for Seattle, coming into his own at the Seahawks in his 3rd season. Sam Howell had a pretty good year with the Rams. He's now the starter out there in L.A., and he's actually got him to the 1 seed, so good job for Sam Howell. Jordan Love also cracks the 4,000. There's Caleb Williams, only 1 interception this year, so good for him. He kind of toned that down a lot. Touchdown leader was Mahomes. Dak Prescott also had 40. Lawrence, Beck, Purdy, Herbert, Howell, Burrow, Williams. There's Kyler Murray now in Tennessee. That's what happened to him. And Jaden Daniels, 36-36. We see him crack a little bit of stats. Very good season for the Giants. Got him in the postseason. Interception leader was Malachi Nelson of the Commanders. That was their guy, and well, he did not have a good rookie campaign. Desmond Ridder was 16. Arch Manning had 16 as well, 16 touchdowns for him. Drew Allar doubled with 13 but 26 touchdowns. And we see Bryce Young and Kenny Pickett still out there. There's Dante Moore with the Bears. He had 19 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Quinn Ewers with the Jets. Your rushing leader this year was Josh Jacobs, followed by Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey. No new real running backs really cracking the mold up here, which is a little disappointing. I like to see somebody. Trey Benson at least gets up there with 1,100 yards and 12 touchdowns. And speaking of touchdowns, it was Ramondre Stevenson who leads the way with 17 of those. Omarion Hampton with 14 of the Buccaneers. Your receiving leader this year was Rashee Rice with 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns. Colston Loveland in his 2nd year. He benefited from playing with Patrick Mahomes. He had the best tight end season, so it wasn't Travis Kelce. That's very interesting. Brandon Ayuk follows his record-setting year with 20 more tutties. Brian Thomas Jr. makes it for the Titans, Kyler Murray's favorite target. CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Lockett also out there in Tennessee. We see Puka Nacua and a couple of the other usual faces. Touchdown leader was Brandon Ayuk. Rashee Rice had 17, 16, 15 across some of the board. There's your other ones there. As Ladd McConkey of the Bengals also making some noise. Your defensive leader was Quay Walker with 141 tackles. Sack-wise was 31.5 for Micah Parsons now in the Patriots. That is a record. Micah Parsons shatters straight hands record in New England. My goodness, 31.5 sacks. Touchdown or interception leader was Derek Stingley with 6. Jerome Baker had 5. So did Kirby Joseph, Jack Campbell, and a couple of other names. As that is your stats. We'll take a look at who wins the Super Bowl as well as who wins the awards before we call it a thing. Taking a look back at the season, and it was the Ravens who win the Super Bowl. They beat the Los Angeles Rams 27-17. You can see the winners of the awards on the right side. A lot of the same names that we've seen. But that does it for 3 seasons with some of the rookies. Some of them making some statements. You can see some of them are starting to grow and could be future names of this franchise. But just something I like to fun to do with the draft. Let me in the comments section below. What do you think is going to happen in the draft tonight? Who do you want your favorite team to select? But that's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.